almost all my life, after ile kujijua like 10, 11, 12 there, I've been taking care of people. I've been really, really deep into taking care, either by default or from the goodness of my heart, But most of it conditioning, firstborn daughters, yada yada. So I decided this year I'm going to be a bit selfish too. I revisit self and see what this girl looks like when she's dining alone, what this girl looks like when she's dancing alone, what this girl looks like when she's just writing and telling the world her thoughts. Recently, when I was doing a whole transition of my life, I was thinking, I know you are way much more than just a girl who had a child at 18. You're way much more than just a girl who was so struggling financially with a child, struggling to go to university with a child who is in kindergarten na watapatana nyumbani pamoja. We're going to laugh, we're going to cry, we're going to sniff. We're going to think deeply, really, like, wow. And it's not like, wow. A very deep one, a deep wow. Yes. Hi, my name is Carolina, and this is the Dining and Journals podcast. Karibuni. So, an interesting name choice, I guess. Dining and Journals. Why? Why Dining and Journals, you may ask? So the reason why I came up with this podcast, dining, is because I feel good when I'm eating, and I think a lot when I'm eating. Like, I can just be mid-chew. I don't know if that's a word, but mid-chew. And then I'm thinking about something, probably reflecting on the past or thinking about the future or the current, anything too. So the reason why I came up with the name Dining and Journals is because I have started journaling. Hooray. I've started journaling, and the things that I'm writing, I don't know. Some things I didn't even know I experienced, they happened. But as you write, it's like you awaken a new spirit. It's like you awaken something that, that was not there. That was there, but at the back of your mind, right? So I want to share these thoughts with people. I want to share these thoughts with you guys. Badala ya kujiongelesha, why not, talk in front of the mic and have an audience and share with you guys. So this should be interesting. I promise it's gonna be. The setup of this podcast is dining and journaling. Really basic, just the way it sounds. So, as we're beginning this podcast, it's called where it's going to start, where it all started. So last Saturday, I went to a place. I had not planned to go to that place. I really knew that I need to go to a place and, have a sit down with myself and eat as I think, because, eat as you think. We already talked about that. And it was very impromptu. Hata sikuwa na do. I just decided, you know what? I can't. Oh, yeah. It was inspired by the fit that I had on when I was coming out of the house to run some errands and to go do a class that I'm doing. So I decided, no, I can't go back to the house looking this good. So hakuna venye ningerudi kwa nyumba looking that good, like you don't waste a fit like that. So it also hit me that I am supposed to record a podcast episode next week, and it's called Dining and Journals, and I have not dined. So I decided to, this is my moment. Did I have money? No, I did not have enough money. So I decided to, panda mat, and it landed me somewhere in Kamakis, and down I went. I sat and decided and started journaling. So I didn't even have a notebook at the time because it wasn't planned. in my mind, I had thought my first, my first episode is going to be, I will dress up, I will do some makeup, I will go for a dinner or brunch or something. But no, this was too impromptu. So I didn't even have a notebook. So I got into the first, what is it called? The first supermarket that I saw, huko Kamakis. And nikanunua notebook, nikanunua biro pen, and decided, I can do this. I can do that. I don't even have to be eating. Okay, it's supposed to be dining, I know, but it could be anything, So I have my notebook, I have my pen. I go into one of those joints. There are so many along that path, along that road. So I go into one of them and I set my bag there. I start writing, and one thing about me, once I touch the pen and the paper, you already know it's gonna flow. You already know it's going to flow. My thoughts are too many. Sometimes they overlap. Like if I'm writing, I want to write about something that happened, but I also want to write about something else that happened. So I just started writing and decided this is going to be my first dining moment, and of course, journaling moment. So I asked for a drink, kind of soft. In my books, I mean, guaranas. That was a soft drink, to be honest. So I asked for a guarana. Hizo zinakuja mbili mbili. So the first batch comes. I'm in page 3, page 4, writing about how I want this first episode to be. You have to prepare. You have to make it worth for your audience. You can't be there listening or watching me for all those minutes and sisemi kitu najirudia. So I wanted this to be really cool, to be really nice. But here we are. I hope it's making sense at this point. So the podcast idea, the first thing I wrote was why now. Like I was flashing back. I was getting flashbacks on when the first time I got podcast idea. When I'm talking to friends or just new people, because I yap a lot once I've gotten used to you, they tell me, hey, you know what? Your story yako, because I'm going to give you stories. You'll hear them in the coming episodes, and you're going to say, yeah, you should have started this podcast earlier. So when I'm talking to people earlier, way earlier, uko miaka ya nyumani, the previous years before this podcast idea even, they tell me, you should tell your story. Have you written anything that we can read about? Because some of these things, they're not, you may think they are normal or what, but they are not. So it would be so interesting to read about it, to watch it, or to listen up to it. And so the first thing that flashed in my mind when I was writing this journal for this first episode is where it all started. So where did it all start? With friends, with people who know me, with people who see me smile every day, and they wonder, I know your story. I know you can't have that big of a smile after what you've just told me. Like, it doesn't make sense. You can't be that composed, But life has to go on. It happened, yeah. So the first time I had a podcast idea was in 2023. I was working for this very nice lady. It was my first job, commuting from the house to the office, and I used to really feel good telling people naenda ofisi leo, naenda ofisi kesho. When somebody's calling me and I'm like, niko kwa ofisi. Really, a really nice feeling if you're not used to it. So this lady she was very inspirational. In fact, most of the things that I am doing right now is from what she mentored me to do, So I'm there thinking, every time she would ask me, so what next from here? And I would tell her, I want to start a podcast. I want to start a social media management and digital marketing company. And those were the two biggest things in my mind in 2023, right? But, 2023, 2025, 2 years later, everybody who asked me in 2023, they knew. In fact, everybody knew a podcast is coming. At some point, wakacha kuuliza because, 6 months, where is the podcast you promised? 1 year, what? Podcast? At some point, they forgot. Unafika to place, it stops concerning you, and unless me personally, the podcast's dreamer of. That's not even a word or a phrase, but we move. I was dreaming of this podcast. So unless I bring it up, people who had heard about it before, they were not, at the back of their mind, they know, okay, she may one day, but no. But here we are, finally. Am I excited? Yes, I am over the moon, and I can't believe that this is finally happening. And I want to make this worthwhile, to be honest. I want to make it worthwhile. So, I'm writing about the first episode on this journal, and I am thinking about that time when I said I would do a podcast. And now it's 1 week to shooting the first episode. And I'm wondering, okay, what am I going to talk about in the camera? And I'm supposed to nafaa kumaliza 30 to 45 minutes or something, There's that limit so that you can be called a podcast. Otherwise, tungeita too real. Okay, the first thing I want to talk about is how dreams come true, Because if dreams didn't come true, would I be sitting here in front of a mic doing the thing that I said I kept telling everybody that I would do in 2023? I don't think so. But over the years, what I do is every year that starts, I have what is it called? I have a theme. I have a theme of how I want that year to be. And it started in 2022. I really can't remember because these themes, I normally write them as my WhatsApp status about. Not a status, WhatsApp about. That part where... Yeah. So, last year it was manifesting. And trust me, I had so many things I was manifesting, including this podcast, including starting my business, social media management and digital marketing. A lot. This year, though, it's a bit different. It's called Revisiting Self. And I sat down and realized almost all my life, after ile kujijua, like 10, 11, 12 there, I've been taking care of people. I've been really, really deep into taking care, either by default or from the goodness of my heart, But most of it, conditioning. Firstborn daughters, yada yada, So I decided this year is going to be my year for revisiting self. I can't remember how it felt like to be by myself like that. I don't know if you understand, but I cannot remember how it felt like to just be, it's me. It's not, it's me, it's you, it's everyone, it's the whole world. No, me. So revisiting self is based on me thinking back, trying to go back to the root, to that point, probably, if there is one, where I felt that this is me. It's just I'm in this bubble peke yangu. But no, even my slightest thoughts, probably I'm going somewhere and I'm going to be late. It has to be connected to, now if I'm late, what are they going to do? Or if I'm late, this and this is not going to happen to them. Not specific them, but everybody who I carry in my mind and my heart. So I decided this year I'm going to be a bit selfish too. I revisit self and see what this girl looks like when she's dining alone, what this girl looks like when she's dancing alone, what this girl looks like when she's just writing and telling the world her thoughts, or when she's in front of the mic and talking to people she can't see, who can see her, hopefully. And yeah, I mean, the podcast is based on that mostly. And it's my way of just expressing myself, It should be therapy. I know it's supposed to be a therapy session. But for now, it's going to be a podcast episode. Yeah, until that time. So, let's start with who is Carolina? Who is this podcaster who is just yapping around in front of the mic? Carolina, she is bubbly, she's loving, she's curious, she's very, what can I say? She's very out there. Well, she's supposed to be. She feels that she should, but you know, at heart she's out there. Soon she'll be really out there. So yeah, this is it. This is where it all begins, and this is my, I don't know if it's called a tribute, but prologue, I guess. Yeah, this is where it all begins. This is how you meet Caromina. This is how you get to be introduced to her stories, because we're going to laugh, we're going to cry, we're going to sniff we're going to think deeply, really, like wow. And it's not like wow, a very deep one, a deep wow. Yes, I expect deep was. So yeah, that's where my podcast idea began. But now that was not even the first idea that I had. Dining and journals just comes from a point of privilege, from a point of, okay, I'm settled, my mind, my body, my soul. I've gotten a kind of a breakthrough in my life. My mind is at peace with life, and I can really finally talk about this. My first idea for a podcast, though, yeah, crazy. Well, my intro should have been Caromina is soon to be 29-year-old, a mother of one who is 11 years old, so you can do the math. Now, my first idea for a podcast in that 2023 that I was talking about was, drum rolls, the Baby Mama Podcast. Yep, the Baby Mama Podcast. So I'll be here sitting talking about the baby, and I had a whole lot of topics, but when I was revisiting and reviewing my idea for a podcast, I decided, okay, this whole idea of the Baby Mama Podcast, it was not coming from a point of, hey, I want to do a podcast and talk about my life. No. Or, hey, I want to connect with people who... No. It was coming from a point of, if I can say, a point of bitterness, kind of. Borderline bitterness, borderline, why is this happening to me? Maybe I can talk to other people who it's also happening to. But then I decided, the kind of topics that I was to talk about, I don't know, akina child support, akina the bitterness creeps, like, yeah. No, that was the sad. I think that, and I stand, if you want to do a podcast like that, you go do it. I stand you. But recently, when I was doing a whole transition of my life, I was thinking, I know you are way much more than just a girl who had a child at 18. You're way much more than just a girl who was so struggling financially with a child, struggling to go to university with a child who is in kindergarten na watapatana nyumbani pamoja. You're way more than just talking about, I don't know, and I'm going to incorporate these things in the later episodes, but at that point it was supposed to be the main picture. At this point, the main picture is revisiting self, and that is just a part, it's just something that happened to self, me. So I mean, you'll be surprised what being out of survival mode can do to you. You think this is what you really want, or this is what you're made of, but it's not. Personally, when I was in survival mode, I can say right now I'm kind of settled. I'm way much better than that time when I was thinking about a podcast with the name The Baby Mama Podcast. Jeez, what was that anyway? Yeah, so it reaches a point where in life, like, if you're very hungry, your line of thought, your thought process is limited around a plate of food, right? When you're so thirsty, it's just about water. When you're so lonely, it's just about finding love. Stuff like that. You don't even see the bigger picture. Like, around you, there's so much. There's so good. There's so many good things that have happened before, but whether you just want to focus on how it's so hard to... No, I'm talking to me. Me, I only wanted to focus on how, the whole journey of baby mama-ship and stuff. I didn't want to build a whole personality around that. Recently when I was now reflecting, I just thought, I know this is not the kind of personality that I want the world to see me in. I've already said I'm way, way much more. So, as much as I'm going to talk about it in the later episodes, uko tu kuguzia, after I have talked about my vacations, after I have talked about the good people in my life, after I've talked about every other good thing, right? Yeah, so this is the Dining in Journals podcast. My name is Carolina, and it's been so good to talk to you guys. I feel this is a good beginning, and it's going to be even better in front there. So follow, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. There's a new Chile in town, and she didn't come to play. Okay, bye.